Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a minute. I asked on Instagram and Facebook what video you guys would want to see. So I got a few responses and I'm going to get around to all of them. But the first one that popped up was more therapy stuff, basically is what it said. So today we're going to talk about what I learned in therapy this month. So hang with me because it's kind of a long analogy, I guess. But so I have issues processing my emotions. Like, it makes me highly anxious to have to deal, to have to deal with any type of emotion, or any type of uncomfortable situation, or uncomfortable conversation, any kind of conflict. So I was talking with my psychiatrist about just different things coming up, different situations that I was feeling nervous about or uncomfortable about, and we started talking about ways that you can protect yourself. So protect your emotions, protect yourself from, spiraling into more anxiety or whatever it is that you deal with, without completely cutting yourself off from things that are important, people that are important, things that need to happen, emotions that need to be processed. And it was very interesting. So you can hear pounding. It's my kid running around like a cat. So basically he likened it to a situation being like a house that you walk by and you see smoke. So I think I'll start from the furthest out, like the worst case scenario. So if you see a house with smoke coming out of it and that house is on fire, and you know that if you go inside that house it's going to do nothing but hurt you, then it's okay for you to say, I'm not going in there. Call 911, get help, but I'm not going in there. I have to protect myself from getting hurt. So sometimes, even though it may seem a little selfish, there are going to be situations where, maybe a person or a particular situation or whatever that is just a dumpster fire, and it's okay for you to say, I'm not going in there. Like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, because I know I can't handle it. I know that I'll be so depressed that I won't want to get out of bed for a week. I'll be so anxious that I'll start, shaking, and I won't be able to handle it. And those situations may be different on a day-to-day basis depending on where you are. So almost like if you're physically sick, if you have allergies or something like I do, or fibromyalgia or some sort of chronic illness, that you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. So on your good days you'll be able to do more than you could on your bad days. So the same thing goes for mental illness. So but there's always going to be, on whatever day it is, a situation where you just know that I can't go there. So that would be like the furthest out. Like, we just know we're not even going to touch that. So kind of a step back would be, okay, well, I see smoke. Is the house really on fire, or are they just, do they have their fireplace on? Is someone smoking near the window? Something that maybe, if I go inside, the smoke might agitate my allergies or, make me a little uncomfortable, but it's not something where it's going to hurt me. Then you get to make the decision, am I in a place where that's okay? So, it's not, I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to be in immediate danger of my, mental state just being completely destroyed. But am I strong enough today to handle that agitation, I guess? And I kind of likened it to allergies in my head, just because that's something that I struggle with too, where, okay, so say I'm allergic to cigarette smoke. The house is smoking because, someone's sitting by the window smoking. Are my allergies bad today? Did I take my medication? If I did, maybe I can handle that today. Sure, let's go in. Maybe I didn't. Maybe my allergies are really bad that day and it's going to send me over the edge. Again, good days and bad days. So, and only you can make that determination of whether or not you can handle it on that day. And I feel like that middle section is where it gets tricky, because on one hand, people will see that as not weakness, I guess, but maybe like withholding, or I guess weakness, or laziness. Oh, I don't want to go do that with you today, or I can't have that conversation today, or I just can't handle this. And people will get frustrated and kind of just be like, well, just buck up and deal with it. This is something that needs to be done, or this is the conversation that needs to be had. And it doesn't seem that bad to them, but maybe if you're having a bad day, it is something that you need to say no to. So that, and then, let me back up. On the other side, for yourself, you really have to look at, can I handle this, or do I just not want to? Which I think there's a difference between, I can handle this today. My mental state is okay. I can have the conversation. I can go to the event. I can go have lunch, whatever the case may be. But I kind of just don't want to. And I can use my anxiety as an excuse to not go, because it might make me a little bit uncomfortable. So then, on that side, you run into maybe protecting yourself too much, withdrawing, making your life harder, making yourself sadder because you're not surrounding yourself with people, you're not confronting things that you need to confront. So it's a fine line, because on one hand, you don't want to make things worse. On the other hand, you don't want to just ignore things that need to be done. So, and then it really made so much sense to me. And then I even took it one step further, and I said to him, it's funny because you almost have to take it one step further back and say, I smell smoke. Well, is the house on fire? Is it just running to walk away? Is it just, a fireplace or someone smoking where I have to make a decision on what I can handle that day? Or is there no smoke at all? Because someone with anxiety, I smell smoke everywhere. Do you want to have lunch? No. Why? What do you want to say to me? Why do you want to see me? Hey, do you want to come out with us and go to dinner? No. Why? What did I do? What do you need to tell me? If your boss comes up, hey, I need to, let's chat later today. No. Why? What did I do? So a lot of times for me, and I would guess for people with anxiety as well, other people, you're going to smell smoke when it's not there. So I feel like that's really the first step. So I'm going to kind of go back to that beginning and work my way back up. So, for me, when something like that happens, when someone says, let's just use the work example. So if my boss says, hey, we need to chat later today, immediately I go to, okay, why? Like, what did I do? Am I getting fired? Freaking out. So my first step is to say, okay, you smell smoke. Is it there? Because it might not be. Did you do something that you're worried about? Did you, is there a client upset that it's your fault, and that that's what we need to talk about? Is there any indication that there's actually an issue? If not, stop. There's no smoke. just walk away, do something else, distract yourself, you know, use my coping techniques, some other coping techniques, because really that's what this is, right? The avoidance, it's a coping technique or coping mechanism. You know, in that case, I'll use some other coping mechanisms to get me through my day, and keep reminding myself, you know, there's no smoke, it's fine. You know, you have no indication that something bad is actually going to happen. If we're in that middle section where, you know, I can see the smoke, I don't know what it is, I don't know, you know, if the house is on fire or if it's just maybe a little something, somebody's got a fire going, then, you know, I have to make a decision, which doesn't really work so well with a work example, because obviously you can't say no if your boss needs to talk to you. But, you know, in that instance, maybe if somebody said, hey, can we get together for lunch, I want to chat, and you know that there's something going on that person wants to discuss with you, so you have to kind of look at your mental state and say, okay, I know that there's a little bit of a fire there. You know, it's not, the building's not burning down. I'm not going to get hurt. It just might be uncomfortable, and, you know, I'll get a little anxious, but this is probably something that I can handle on a good day. So then you have to make that decision. I mean, if I'm having a really bad day, then no, I can't have the conversation with you today. But if I'm in a good mental state, even if it makes me anxious, then I need to say yes to that. I need to push myself hard enough to be able to have the difficult conversation, be a little bit uncomfortable, because otherwise I'm never going to be able to learn how to do that, or how to properly process an emotion, or how to properly have a difficult conversation with someone. Again, you don't want to push yourself too hard, because we all know, those of us with a mental illness, that it'll just send you spiraling right back to not being able to do anything. But for me, that's something that I have to work on, is being willing to be a little bit uncomfortable if I know that it's not just a raging dumpster fire. And then up to that raging dumpster fire again, I guess, I need to be willing to set my boundaries and not feel guilty for not wanting to touch something right now. If I know that it's just a situation that really I can't help with, maybe, or maybe I could help with it, but it's gonna destroy me mentally, then it's okay for me to say, you know, I'm too fragile right now to be able to help you with this. I just can't do it, and not feel bad about it. And even saying it, I'm like, oh God, that makes me sound like a terrible person. Like, oh, your life is burning down around you. I'm sorry, I'm not strong enough to help you deal with this. Like, that makes me sound terrible, I feel like. But it's okay to walk away from those things if you're protecting yourself. And kind of where all of this came from was really talking about coping mechanisms and how we can use them to help us protect ourselves from things that really will hurt us, and how we can also, though, get in the habit of using them to prevent ourselves from growing. So again, it's really interesting. Obviously, you know, I don't have an answer sometimes even for myself, because like I said, it's different from day to day. And you never have an answer for somebody else either. I mean, you can't tell someone else, you know, well, you should be willing to do this. You just need to do it. It's gonna help you grow. It's gonna help you be less anxious. It's gonna, you know, have the hard conversation. You'll feel better. You don't know what mental state that person is in. You don't know what they can handle. So to force them into something that they're truly not ready for, you could make them much worse. Which I feel like for people on the outside, kind of, that's really hard because it does look like laziness or just not being willing to do things or have conversations or, you know, confront issues. Which, you know, if someone's really thinking about it and they're honestly saying that they can't, they can't. So you have to be understanding about that and just have some patience, and, you know, maybe tomorrow they can, maybe next week they can, maybe next year they can. It just depends on, you know, the severity of the situation. But it was just really interesting to me, and I think it's something that I'm going to use a lot going forward, to kind of help myself discern between, you know, first of all, is there really an issue? Second of all, where are you? Can you handle this issue? Can we confront this? Can we push on this today? And if not, giving myself some grace, you know, being upfront with that about I can't do this and this is why, and walking away and understanding that I'm still a good person. You know, I still love people. I still care about people. I just have to protect myself at the same time, or else I'm going to end up right where I was last November, you know, vibrating, barely able to walk, and just not able to function at all. So that's it. I hope that this was helpful, interesting, you know, something that you wanted to see. Next time, I am going to actually do a nighttime routine, which a couple people have asked me for, just to see, you know, what I do to relax at night, kind of let the day go, be able to sleep, all those different things. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say now I'm nervous to do it because it's going to require more editing than just uploading this to my computer and running it through the Movie Maker. It's going to require, the way I want to do it, it's going to require a voiceover. It may require, you know, time lapse, which is easy. My husband keeps telling me, you know, it's really easy, but until I've done it, it just seems like the most daunting thing. So I'm going to get that up. I'll probably film it next weekend so that, you know, it's on a night when I'm not rushed and having to get everyone in bed for school and having to get myself to bed for work. But hopefully that'll be helpful for some people, because I have developed a lot of kind of coping mechanisms, I guess, but just ways to calm myself down at night and be able to get a good night's sleep. So that's really all. I hope you guys have a great week. Hope you enjoyed this. If you don't follow me on all the socials, it's Mod Mom Diaries on Instagram and Twitter, and then I do have a business page by the same name on Facebook. So come find me, let's hang out, let's chat, let's talk, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.